Welcome back. I will show you a very simple but effective and entertaining animation. I use 3D objects in this animation. You can also use your own materials. If you want to access these station models, you can click on the links below. We revive the famous train stations of the old Wild West, and an interesting image emerges. The rest is up to your imagination. When you see how simple techniques I use, you will want to do it too. First, we need to make the key interpolation linear for the keyframes. Then, let's turn on the shadows to make the viewport look more effective. This is enough. Now, we will draw a path for the train to move forward and the tracks to bend. I am using a formula spline. Your spline may be different and more detailed. I will make sure it's as long as these tracks. Now, I will bend the tracks using spline warp. Tracks may turn upside down. This happens sometimes. Then we copy the same spline and use it as a rail. When you lift this rail a little, the tracks come into the correct position. Instead of raising the spline, I use spline warp bounding box values. It's the station's turn. I will place them according to the shape of the railway line. It wasn't bad. It works. Now we come to the most important point. What will we do to make the train move on the tracks? The train has many surfaces and points. In this case, it will not be easy for the simulation to calculate. Moreover, the animation speed will also decrease. So I will use a simple object with a small surface as a cage. Calculations will be made based on this simple object. It is very important that the mesh object completely covers the model. It should be about the size of a train. I can copy the spline warp I used for the tracks before, but this may prevent the train from going to the first point I want. So I'll use a separate spline warp and rail for the train. just like we did in the tracks part. If the object is stretched, we can use the Keep Length feature to bring it to the size we want. We determine the movement of the train by placing keyframes at frame 0 and 300. This is enough for a 10-second animation. I hide objects I don't want to see in the viewport using traffic lights. I make the stations visible and immediately use a plane effector for animation. The settings you will see are enough for me. You can use different settings. Using the Align to Spline feature, let's mark frames 0 and 300 as the start and end, just like with the train object. If the effector operates in the reverse direction, enter a negative value for the z-axis or use the invert feature. Let's replace the plane effector inside the null object and at the top. I will use a delay effector to make the stations wiggle. If the animation is slow, it's because of the GPU. My GPU is a little old. This will not slow down when you render the animation. It wasn't bad. I hope it gave you an idea. See you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.